Good evening, good afternoon, good night, and good morning. Thank you for tuning in to RETV News Break. I'm Ty.
And I'm Nicole. Every week, Ty and I will come to you here with the RETV News Break. Our goal is to bring you a dose of positive news and conversation in a world full of chaos.
First up, in a story from the website Afrotech, in 2021, Afrotech reported that Al Harrington's Viola became the first Black-owned multinational cannabis brand. This year, the brand seems to be coming for more and then some, with plans to expand to new markets. To strategically position the cannabis brand for the expansion and build equity in the space, Viola has closed a $13 million equity fund round, according to a press release. We're looking forward to a big 2022. The team at Del Morgan has always supported our vision and continues to be great partners for us as we bring Viola to new markets, said Al Harrington, co-founder and CEO of Viola, according to a press release. Neil Morgenbesser, president and CEO of Del Morgan, the banking firm that operated as the transaction advisor for the round, also shared a statement. Al Harrington has proved himself to be a visionary in the cannabis industry, demonstrating an ability to execute on initiatives that resonate deeply with today's popular culture and consumers. Morgenbesser said, "This investment is transformative, allowing Viola to significantly accelerate its expansion nationwide as one of the most iconic brands in cannabis. Founded in 2011, Viola has since adopted the latest technology using its proprietary processes to help with extraction and production for its various strains and product offerings, which include top-notch butane extracts and premium cannabis flowers. Viola's formula is proving to be the perfect mix as the company already plans to acquire more capital to increase supply and match market demand," a press release shares. As of now, the company plans to use its recent fundings to reach new markets in Pennsylvania, Illinois, New Jersey, and in Maryland. The company hopes to apply strategic marketing initiatives to land Viola as a leading force within the cannabis arena. With Viola and former NBA player turned businessman Harrington has been working to ensure that his legacy goes beyond basketball. "I think the main thing was just that educating myself towards the end of my career after I started to realize I wasn't jumping as high, I wasn't as fast, I wasn't as important to the league as I used to be, so I had to figure out what was next," Harrington previously told Afrotech. "From the looks of Viola's plans and their already amazed success, it seems as though Harrington has figured it out." Check out the full interview with Harrington at afrotech.com. That is a pretty interesting story. With Al Harrington, a former NBA player. I know there are a lot of NBA players and business people and even NFL players with Ricky Williams getting into the cannabis industry. Now that, a lot of states have legalized recreational cannabis, and I think the majority of the states, from my understanding, have legalized medicinal cannabis for medicinal purposes. So it's pretty dope to see that Al Harrington has partnered with the group and created, one, the Viola company, but two, been able to get more capital we're considering the fact where it's still technically illegal federally.
Right, because $13 million is not chump change.
Oh, not at all. And for him to be using that, that money to be able to innovate, more processes and grow more strands and, do all of these things. I mean, it's like amazing to see how it has, the whole cannabis industry and as a whole has grown in the past couple of years, where it's, first become legal in certain states.
And the fact that he's now expanding into, more legalized states. I noticed that as you were listing the names, because the state in which we live is not listed on there because we're not yet legal. But I'm looking forward to seeing what other products and services that comes out of Viola. Sounds like, the fact that he has a backing funding. He and his team, I should say, because I'm pretty sure it's just not himself, but definitely has some great works in store. So kudos to Al Harrington for
definitely
coming up with Viola, which I remember, I believe the company is named after his grandmother.
Ah, okay. I wonder where the Viola. I've seen the brand. I haven't seen the brand, but I've seen like his apparel. Yes, I've seen him with Viola shorts and shirts and this, that, and the third. I've been to a few dispensaries, but have not seen the brand, and maybe that's his what he's trying to do, because I've been out to California, I've been to Vegas and so forth. I have not seen the brand, and so maybe he's trying to expand into other markets, as it says, to get his brand more widely known across the United States.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah, that's pretty
more
dope.
like that.
Exactly.
Social equity.
Exactly.
Sure. In our next story, the famous motif, I Have a Dream, was actually a prayer that was spoken eloquently by Miss Prathia Hall, a fellow preacher and civil rights movement activist. She was the key inspiration of Dr. King's I Have a Dream speech. After graduating from Temple University in 1962, Miss Hall joined the SNCC, the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee. She was one of the first women field leaders in the Southwest Georgia area. That same year, Prathia Hall led a prayer group at a vigil where the Mount Olive Baptist Church stood the day prior, but was burned to the ground by the Ku Klux Klan. Hall sees the house of worship in rubble and is moved with compassion and faith and begins to pray the words, I have a dream. Dr. King attended that same vigil and was enamored by Prathia's gifted oratorical skills and informed her that he was impressed by her prayer and wanted to use the mantra, I have a dream.
Wow.
So I want to make it very clear. She did not write the speech, I have a dream, but just the motif, I have a dream. And then later on, Dr. King actually filled in all the commentary that, included in his speech.
So can she take credit for that then? I mean, no, I'm serious. Can she take credit? Because, nowadays everybody's so sensitive with, taking people's ideas and thoughts and so forth. I even think of Robin Thicke, his song Blurred Lines. And Marvin Gaye's family and his estate came back and said, nope, wait a minute. That sounds way too much like, got to give it up. I think, and so...
Okay.
Listen, and honestly, I'm not gonna lie. Going back and listening to it, I was like, I get it, but I don't. It's kind of a stretch. Plus, he had a whole nother beat. He had lyrics. Everything was completely different than Marvin Gaye's song. So for her to come along and with the prayer that you said she was doing at this visual and mentioning the words, I have a dream, is that something in which she can take credit for, or go back and say, oh, well, I gave him that idea. I gave him the premise of I have a dream.
Well, doing further research, because I had the same question, and those who knew her back then, because unfortunately she did pass of cancer, she was very modest and said that because they had a conversation and he informed her prior to using it, it was more so her informal way of saying, you have my blessing, go forward, and look what the partnership created, which has been a phenomenal speech and will be known for many, many years to come. So I think it's important, though, that folks know that she's the one who inspired him, with those words. But because prior to me finding this article, I never knew.
Yeah, that's news to me, because especially considering the fact that we just passed Martin Luther King's holiday, this birthday holiday. That's news, because that's his, in my opinion, his most famous speech that he gave. Exactly. And even, I don't how many of you all have seen the Aretha Franklin story, where she's in the background and she goes, tell him about the dream, Martin, tell him about the dream. And which presented him to say, his famous I Had the Dream speech. So to know that there's more to the story than Aretha Franklin or just him having this, iconic speech of I Had a Dream, and to hear that there was, where he got the, I guess, idea from, or he got, he got the idea from, inspiration from at this prayer vigil. That's kind of interesting.
Yeah. And I guess it also proves the saying goes, behind every great man, there is a great woman. And that's
what they say. That's what they say.
You can't deny that.
The jury's still out on that one. No, I agree. No, I truly I truly agree that, there is behind every great man, there is a great woman. And I know that even with his birthday just passing, or the holiday of his birthday just passing, that is one of the things that his kids really try to push out there. That while, yes, my dad, meaning Martin Luther King, was a major figure for the civil rights movement and so forth, the person who does not get a lot of or enough credit is Coretta.
Exactly.
Coretta Scott King, said his wife, exactly, says, deserves a lot more credit than she actually gets for a numerous, amount of reasons. And we just need to, make sure that we give her, her just due as well as we give him his just due. While he was out in the forefront, the forefront is not made for everybody. The marches and being out there, the marches and the speeches and so forth were not made for everybody. You need a supporting cast. And then even outside of supporting cast, to have, a supporting spouse.
Right. And, in order for those to be out in the forefront, you have to have those in the background who's keeping the engine running. And I think without those key people or, that key spouse, it's difficult to be out in the forefront because otherwise you have to do everything soup to nuts on your own.
And, all right. So they already say, and I know we're going to go into the next story in a minute, but they already say, especially with us African-American men, we deal with enough out in the world as it is for us to have to come home and deal with all types of other things. So I'm pretty sure for her to be that support to say, you know what, when you come home, let me take off that weight off of you because I've already taken care of the kids. I've already made X, Y, and Z. I'm pretty sure that was a major thing for him as well.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, I'm really excited about this next story because it actually deals with Byron Allen and his media group.
Oh, really?
He's bought the Weather Company, Weather Channel, and some other things. But in a press release, it was announced that Allen Media Group, AMG, and Google will join heads for an ambitious multi-year and multi-platform deal. The partnership will benefit AMG as they will have data-driven and secure technology solutions to propel the continued growth of AMG. AMG can expect to benefit from Google Cloud as its digital development will be backed by secure and scalable cloud infrastructures. The advancement will create more intentional relationships with its audiences globally. Furthermore, Google Cloud will help AMG across the board by creating apps at a faster pace, improving business decisions, and providing a gateway to business insights through Google's Cloud's data analytics, artificial intelligence, and machine learning capabilities as revealed in a press release. The partnership offerings won't stop there. AMG and Google will tap more streaming offerings to consumers via Google Play, Android phones and tablets, Google TV, and other Android TV OS devices. The media empire will also contribute more offerings to consumers by first expanding its YouTube TV carriage, beginning with the Weather Channel and select AMG networks, among others to be added. All of our Allen Media Group properties are growing at an unprecedented rate, and our partnership with Google is a key step in our continued global transformation, said Allen in a press statement. By leveraging Google's technology, distribution, marketing, and sales platforms, enormous capital support and expertise, Allen Media Group will seamlessly build and enhance and reach revenue worldwide.
That's a dope deal.
It really is. And it's what makes it even more dope is just to see what Byron Allen is doing as an African American in this whole media and TV field. I mean, like you said, he's bought the Weather Channel. He's bought like so many different networks. And just to think he started out, well, I don't know his full background story, but from what I do know, he started out as a comedian.
Right, exactly.
So that's the part that really gets me because I always think of when you hear about comedians, you always hear that they were like the class clowns growing up and then teachers told them they couldn't do X, Y, and Z. But to see him actually turn things around and become this mogul of sorts.
Media
mogul, exactly. A media mogul. And the partnership with, if I'm not mistaken, I believe Google is the second largest next to Amazon's web services.
Okay.
Data and analytics and all of that stuff because I know Amazon Web Services, there are a lot of websites and there are a lot of apps and there are a lot of things like that are powered by Amazon Web Services. I don't know if people remember last year in 2021, Amazon Web Services actually went down for a moment. Thus, it took out like Facebook, Instagram, CNN, like all of these websites and all of these different apps that were taken down. Well, I know Google, again, is second to them, if I'm not mistaken. I have to definitely check my facts on that. But Google is second to them when it comes to the web services. So for him to have partnered with such a conglomerate of a company and corporation to put, his media company on their shoulders and say, hey, we're taking our media to the next level.
Yeah.
That's just phenomenal.
It is. And when I saw they'll be leveraging the artificial intelligence platforms that Google has, I'm pretty sure that also means virtual reality in some aspects. So, kudos to you, Alan.
It's something dope. I will say that I aspire to do similar and become that media mogul myself at some point in time.
Definitely.
Yeah,
definitely.
exactly.
Maybe
So
worth, looking up to see who his team is and getting those conversations going.
Exactly. In our final story, we've heard the stories about Black millionaires making their dreams come true through impossible odds. And we just spoke about Byron Allen.
Exactly.
But Jared Thomas of Tomco Service Group has a very different story. The 32-year-old engineer from Mississippi is a walking testament that success can be achieved through hard work, dedication, and a 9-to-5 job. Yes, you read that correctly, a 9-to-5 job. That's not something that Instagram hustling crowd necessarily wants you to hear or see, but it is quite relevant and much more reliable way to make a covenant million. After years of working in my 9-to-5 job and barely making it through the month, I determined that I would need to do something different if I wanted to live more bountiful life. Jared Thomas said in a statement, I started to grab as many books as I could find on wealth building, investing, financial literacy, and engineering. I knew that if I could combine my current skills with wealth building knowledge, I could achieve the goal of earning $1 million. Now that I've achieved this goal for myself, my next goal is to help others achieve this goal too. Through proof of concept, dedication to his craft, and unwavering commitment to sharing the wealth by guiding others in their career paths to achieve success, his purpose-driven vision has come to fruition. Tomco Service Group is an engineering service firm that specializes in development and implementation of innovative technology for next-generation robotic and autonomous systems. Found out more about Jared Thomas and his company by visiting tomcousa.com.
Congratulations for beating the odds and becoming a millionaire while working a 9-to-5 plus working on his side hustle, which now is his full-time hustle.
Exactly. And that's what people don't understand. As an entrepreneur, it's easy to say, I want to quit my job and I want to go out and just make $1 million with the next biggest and latest and greatest idea or thought or something like that. But there's so much more that goes into it. And it is strongly recommended, unless you got a nice nest egg that sits in your pocket or, in your bank account, to continue to work that 9-to-5 until your 9-to-5 can fund, until your side hustle can fund what your 9-to-5 is used to funding.
Plus some.
Exactly. Plus some. Because then you got to think about insurance. You got to think about all the things that you realize that you don't realize that your 9-to-5 is actually covering.
Right.
So for Jared Thomas to actually do something like this, working his 9-to-5, then having his side hustle and starting his Tomco company, that's pretty dope. And not even that, he's doing it in the realm of technology. They always say technology is the wave of the future. So he's doing this whole next generation robotic and autonomous systems, whatever that means, not sure. But obviously it's something that, has gained him enough notoriety, enough business, enough whatever he needs in order to be successful in his career, in his new career. I'll say that.
And I am very impressed by the fact that he's also giving back by now teaching others to do the same. It didn't mention in this article, but I'm wondering if he's also going to tap into, I think of the school arena and the STEAM program, science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics. it'd be great to partner with those type of programs as well, to start with the kiddos and getting them accustomed to whatever his new venture is.
Yeah, I'm really glad that you mentioned the fact that he is giving back, because that's one of the biggest things that, more people should do, in my opinion. I know people say, well, I got here by myself, or as, I've heard people say, if you wasn't shooting with me in the gym, then, you don't deserve the championship, basketball analogy. Gotcha. But for him to be able to say, you know what, I worked this 9 to 5, I read these books, I did the work. However, I'm going to take the $1 million that I have, and I'm going to now use part of that and help fund so that I can help others be able to build their financial futures. Exactly. And build that same wealth. Because at the end of the day, what's probably going to happen is, while others are building their wealth, it's going to wind up helping him and continue to build his wealth. And for him to not only just stop at obviously 1 million, which is where the article mentioned, but I'm pretty sure he'll continue to use that that same process to help others, to help himself, continue to build and build and build, and to bring others up with him.
Definitely.
That's pretty dope. So shout out to you, Mr. Jared Thomas. Again, for more information, you can go to tomcousa.com to find out more about Jared Thomas. Or you can also read more about a lot of these articles or these news stories that we're bringing to you at afrotech.com for more information as well. We appreciate y'all for tuning in to RETV News Break. This is your RETV News Break for the week. Stay tuned for your RETV Sports Break. We will see you all next week.
Welcome to What's Going On? My name is Demita Joe. Each Wednesday, you can find me here at 3 p.m. I'll be over here discussing different things that are going on and try to bring you a boost of positivity for your week, because we all need this. We're going to share some feel-good stories. We might find a hometown hero. We may take a look at some trending topic. And sometimes we might even find a lesson in a not-so-warm and fuzzy story if we can. I'm Demita Joe, and I'll see you guys on the next episode right here on What's Going On?
Growing up in the church, we saw a lot. Things that people refuse to talk about. The elephants in the room. Mental illness, sexual abuse, broken families, domestic violence, and so much more. The Big E, The Elephant in the Room, is a show that sheds light on these topics. We're here to speak about the unspeakable.